Hiya, welcome back to Green Hill Gaming, where I share my passion of video games with the whole wide world. In this live stream, it is another Resident Evil discussion live stream full of 100% honest truth. This time around, I'll be revealing the truth behind the Zoomer Resident Evil Fanbase. So sit back, relax, but as always, and more importantly, enjoy the live stream. Now I'll actually be playing Code Veronica X as I have my discussion live stream, and as always, you lovely people can join in on the discussion and enjoy. Code Veronica, one of the last Resident Evil games. A gem of the game. One of my first PS2 games as well. Hiya Chad, how are you doing? Why you call me out like that? Wait, what? You joking or being serious? I genuinely don't know. But nonetheless, Chad, as always, you are very, very welcome to Green Hill Gaming for yet another Resident Evil discussion live stream. Full of hard facts. Oh, okay. Good. How are you doing, Chad? Yeah, this live stream contains truth, and the truth stings. Some people, so just be warned, people, be warned. So yeah, as I said, I'm playing Code Veronica X, one of the last Resident Evil games before the series became action horror games with the Resident Evil name slapped right on there. Okay, let me tell you some truth behind the Zoomer Resident Evil fanbase, yeah? Would you like to know why these Zoomers don't like this game? It's simple, because they can't play this game. It's as simple as that, really. It's as simple as that. It's as simple and short and sweet as that. They can't last 5 minutes playing actual Resident Evil games. That's why they love 4 and onwards so much. Because they're action horror games that are a lot easier to play than the actual Resident Evil games. Oh, you're still sick, Chad. Did you arrange to make an appointment with your doctor? Oh yeah, I went to the doctor, but everything closed due to the hell? A Mormon holiday. The hell? When is your next available appointment? The Zoomers don't like the tank controls. They don't like the fixed camera angles. They don't like resource management. And they don't like true survival horror. That's why they love 4, 5, 6, 7 in Village. Because they're action horror games and they're just a lot easier to play. A lot more modernized. And you know what I say to those Zoomers? Get good. Get good at Resident Evil. Stop moaning. Stop complaining about these games. Stop complaining about tank controls. Stop moaning about fixed camera angles. Stop crying about resource management and survival horror and just get good at Resident Evil. They don't like tank controls in RE, but they'll love it in NGS1. Boom! Exactly! Oh, thank you, Konami, for giving us the greatest video game ever. For giving us the first video game in the Metal Gear series, Metal Gear Solid. That's what these idiotic Zoomers think, by the way. It's actually the third game in the Metal Gear series. But you're so right. You're so right, man. You're so right, Chad. These Zoomers creaming their pants at Konami are re-releasing Metal Gear Solid 1, which has tank controls. Yeah, thank you, Chad. Thank you for exposing their absolute hypocrisy. They don't like tank controls in Resident Evil, but they're happy enough with tank controls in Metal Gear Solid. Preach, Mr. Middleton. I love that. You're so right. Hit the nail on the head right there. So now Resident Evil, Code Veronica X, and Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 1, the original and the remake, the prequel 0, they just have this flavour, right? That was removed from 4 onwards. And I want that flavour back. And that flavour is Resident Evil. That's what that flavour is. Resident Evil. Bring back Resident Evil. Here, with all my yapping, now I'm actually going to get a bit lost there now, so... Oh yeah. I know where to go. I think I do anyway. Yeah, with all my yapping, I go to focus on the gameplay at the same time. Which is no easy task, let me tell you. But yeah, Zoomers, they just can't last 5 minutes in these games before they start crying, moaning, complaining. It's too old. This game is so outdated. I can't handle these tank controls and fixed camera angles. It's too difficult. That's why they don't like these games. Simple as. That's the truth. That's the truth of the Zoomer Resident Evil fanbase. That's why they will play 4, 5 and 6 over and over and over again and not touch these games. Because they can't handle the challenge of a true Resident Evil game. They need to get good at Resident Evil. You see, I'm not the one moaning, complaining and crying. No. No. I'm the person speaking truth. Hitting those hard, cold, solid facts. It's the Zoomer Resident Evil fanbase. They're the ones that are crying and moping and complaining, nagging. Because they can't handle Resident Evil. They can't handle the tank controls, the fixed camera angles, the resource management and survival horror. That's why they have to have action horror. That's why they have to have Resident Evil games, well, games, action horror games with the Resident Evil name. That's why they have to have those games where your fucking ammo is around every corner. And on top of that, when you defeat the Ganados in 4, and what the fuck they're called in 5, I couldn't give a shit, to be honest with you. in 6. That's why those enemies actually, like, they spawn ammo. That's why they have to have those games that have checkpoints. Fucking checkpoints. That's why they have to have the little zoomer hands. Cost. The games have to catch their little zoomer hands and guide them through the game with checkpoints and action and unlimited ammo around every fucking corner. That's why they love those games. That's the truth behind the Zoomer Resident Evil fan base. Yeah, good old Green Herb Gaming. I always love the sound effect of the moth. It's so funny. And I'm demonstrating resource management right now because I know I'm there's a possibility that if I go back to the training facility, that I think it's a training facility, I know where the fuck it is. Yeah, training facility is back there, this is the palace. That if I don't put the boar gun hours into my inventory box, that I won't have enough space in my inventory for the other items that I'm going to be getting there. That's called resource management. These Zoomer Resident Evil fans, it drives them crazy. If they had to put up with that, it would drive them crazy. Oh, this is a stupid game design. Money. No matter what they say, no matter what you think, all they're interested in is making the money. Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, EA, Rockstar, whoever, Capcom, Ubisoft, they're all interested in making money. I don't give a fuck about that side of things, though. I don't give a fuck about that side of things. I'm just talking about the concept of what is Resident Evil. That concept has been dead for a very long time, as I've been saying in these Resident Evil discussion live streams. The flavour has been removed because there's a certain feeling I get, and I'm going to call it a flavour, when I play these games. It's not found in 4, it's not found in 5, it's certainly not found in 6, and it's not even found in 7 and Village. It's this classic inventory screen, it's the music, it's the resource management, it's the fixed camera angles, it's the tank controls. And do not be under the illusion that there is no market for this, because there are millions of people around the world who crave this. There are people who create fan games based off the classic the real PlayStation 1 Resident Evil games, the only Resident Evil games. These people are modding. They're modding modern Resident Evil games to include the tank controls, the fixed camera angles, the resource management, and, well, just particularly the fixed camera angles and tank controls. But there is a demand for this type of Resident Evil. It is just, see, there is a very loud minority. I keep using that term throughout my discussions. There's a loud minority of fucking Zoomers who have infiltrated the Resident Evil community. Okay? And these people are like, yeah, 4 is a great game, yeah, 5 is a great game as well. I thought it was great that Chris Redfield punched a fucking boulder. Yet you call tank controls unrealistic. You fucking retard. Honestly. Another obvious truth about the Resident Evil Zoomer fanbase is they just weren't alive when these games were released. Or they just were way too young to understand these games or appreciate these games. By the time they were old enough to appreciate gaming, their first Resident Evil game would have been 4 onward. So that's their understanding of Resident Evil, which is action horror. Characters jumping out windows, kicking open doors, suplexing fucking humanoid characters. That's their Resident Evil. But their Resident Evil isn't Resident Evil, because it would have been 4 onwards. So there's an entire series before that they haven't played, they haven't experienced. And again, as I pointed out, the obvious reasons why is because they're either too young to experience these games. I'm not talking about age rating, I'm talking about that were like literally like 2 years of age, or just not born at all. But by the time that they started to become aware of these real Resident Evil games, they just didn't like them because they're too outdated. And yeah, they don't like tank controls, fixed camera angles, resource management, and true survival horror because they just can't last 5 minutes in these games. I spoke to Strange Music earlier today in my earlier Code Chronicle live stream, and he admitted himself. He said he couldn't aim at the zombies, which, as Sabertag pointed out earlier, how the fuck does that make sense? Because there's auto-aiming. Anyway, according to him, he couldn't aim properly at the zombies, but I presume what he meant was the classic way of aiming. Like, in in 7 in Village, it's first-person shooting. So it's a modern system of shooting. So these Zoomers just can't play these games. They need to get good at these games. Claire, calm down. Calm down, Claire. Hello, doggy. I actually always feel bad when I hear the noise that these dogs make when they're already dead. But you know, when you die again. Like, I think there's a certain level of skill involved in just knowing when to shoot and how to shoot. But Zoomers, or at least some of these Zoomers anyway, maybe look, let me pause. Let me be deadly serious. Maybe I am being a bit unfair, okay, in terms of branding every single Zoomer the same. Maybe that's a bit unfair. Okay, let's face it, there are plenty of Zoomers out there that can appreciate true Resident Evil, and probably even prefer true Resident Evil. Okay? So I just wanted to say that. So let's say some Zoomers from the one, some Zoomers, they just can't handle these games. They don't like these games. Imagine not liking Resident Evil but claiming to be a Resident Evil fan. That is something that I find really, truly amusing. That just never fails to, never fails to amusing. So I have 3 item slots left. I think that should be enough to explore inside here. So, in these Resident Evil discussion live streams, I'm not going to talk about Capcom. I'm not going to talk about their involvement in all of this. You know, this change that went on in the series. I'm not going to, because they're a business. Okay? Is there die-hard Resident Evil fans within Capcom's development team? Yes. But is there men in suits working within the publisher side of things in Capcom that just want to make money and don't give a fuck about probably even gaming, to be quite honest with you. Yes, because that's how corporate works. You know, the true life umbrella corporation within Capcom. All they're interested in is making money. All they're interested in is going after modern gamers and seeing what the latest trends are, while not giving a single flying fuck about the original fan base who literally established this franchise into what it is. Because when these Zoomers, some of these Zoomers in the mid-2000s, when they picked up Resident Evil 4, it was Resident Evil 4. It was the fourth mainline entry in the series, but it might have been the fourth mainline numbered entry in the series. But what you have to remember is count the amount of Resident Evil games, actual Resident Evil games, that were on the market before that. There was the original Resident Evil, there was 2, there was 3, there was Code Veronica and Dreamcast, there was Code Veronica X on PS2, I'm not the same game, but I'm going to count them anyway. There was Resident Evil Remake, and there was Resident Evil 0. That's 7. That's 7 actual Resident Evil games that I'm counting, before 4 was even a thing. So we, the OG fan base, established this series. It wasn't 4. It wasn't Leon S. Kennedy jumping out a fucking window. It wasn't these Zoomer, some of these Zoomers that established the series. No, it was me and a lot of others. Do I take that red herd? You know what? I am. Again, listen to that music. That is classic Resident Evil music. I just don't think we see enough of that nowadays. I'm waiting for the zombies. Zombies, by the way. Actual zombies. Waiting for them to actually die, like waiting for to see the pool of blood. That is classic Resident Evil. I mean, I cringe when I see Leon giving Ganado suplexes. I fucking cringe. I don't understand how any true Resident Evil fan can actually enjoy Leon suplexing a Ganado. And I don't understand how people can truly embrace the action in these so-called Resident Evil games. Now you could argue what I'm doing right now is action. I have a gun in my hand and I'm shooting. Like, that is action, yeah? But overall, Resident Evil is survival horror, with an emphasis on survival. With a massive emphasis on survival, actually. Yes. This is something that some players would forget about. So this is the storage warehouse. So when you get a key to the storage warehouse, remember, it's situated right here. The truth of the Zoomer or Resident Evil fan base is they just don't appreciate this generation of gaming, because, as I mentioned earlier, they weren't alive during this generation of gaming, or they were extremely young during this generation of gaming. So how could they? Logically, it's not possible. It's just not possible. Like, they look at these games and they see, literally, PS2 graphics. Literally. And they just can't appreciate these kind of graphics. I mean, not alone PS1 graphics. Oh, you can't even see the characters, it's pixel block. They just can't appreciate that generation of gaming. That is the truth. That is the truth. Yet they call themselves Resident Evil fans, because they're like 4. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm so glad they remade 4. What about Code Veronica? Oh, what? Oh, anyway. Oh, I heard they're remaking 5. Imagine remaking 5 but not remaking Code Veronica. I mean, how the fuck do you explain Albert Wesker surviving? Explain that. I mean, Chris Redfield meets... So let's say, okay, the remake 5. I mean, Chris Redfield, you know, is Chris and Jill are going after Wesker. How is it explained that Wesker survived? Because as far as Chris and Jill were concerned, Wesker died. It's only in Code Veronica that you meet up with Wesker again. So skipping Code Veronica is stupid. Good old Uncle Bert. He was actually a great character in that series, to be honest. I mean, he really was. Yeah, I'm done with this room. Or did I actually? No, I'm actually not, actually. See, I'm talking too much. You can open these lockers, can't you? Or am I thinking of another part of the game? You see, it's hard to do discussion live stream and do gameplay at the same time. It's not easy. I don't think we'll ever get back Resident Evil. I think I've made peace with that. I mean, I would love it, but I can't see it happening. I think Capcom have moved on as a business, as a company. They're not going back. They're not going back. It's just going to continue to evolve into something that is just unrecognizable. It's like modern Pokemon. I mean, you get a starter Pokemon of a cat, and by its third or fourth evolution, it's a fucking tank or something. You know? I think Resident Evil is like Resident Evil. As in, like, what I mean is, like, it's like somebody that got infected by a virus. It's like William Birkin. You know, Resident Evil started out as William Birkin, but it's now William G-type. Just a mutated, transformed mess of its former self. That's the Resident Evil series in a fucking nutshell. Yeah, I think most of the OG team is... That's the thing as well. Shinji Mikami is gone. He was gone since 4. He's moved on to other things. Evil Within being one of them. And yeah, I mean, even people outside of him, they're gone. There's different people now. And the reality is, I mean, it's been so long since this series has been out. So the reality is, the very Zoomers that I am talking about, who... their first Resident Evil games would have been 4 and onwards, so their understanding of Resident Evil is action horror, Leon Kennedy jumping out windows and kicking open doors and suplexing Ganados. That is Resident Evil in their little Zoomer mindset. But the reality is, those Zoomers are literally working on Resident Evil right now. That's true as well. The truth is, a lot of these Resident Evil Zoomers are actually making Resident Evil. How fucking scary is that? Now, people don't like fixed camera angles. I can't see what's around the corner. Well, that's the whole point, you fucking idiot. See, I think that's the thing as well. These Zoomer, another truth of these Zoomer Resident, some of these Zoomer Resident Evil fans, is they just don't get it through. They don't seem to be able to get it through to their thick skulls that all of this gameplay mechanics is intended. It's not like, oh, but Johnny, you have to realize the technical limitations at the time meant that games were like this, but now because of superior consoles, you can do other things. Bullshit. It is a deliberate game design. It was intended. The game was intended to look like this. Seriously. It has not... I mean, obviously the graphics... The reason the graphics look like this is because of technical specifications at the time. But not the gameplay. I mean, does Mario have tank controls in Super Mario 64? No. That was an N64 fucking game. Okay? Is there fixed camera angles? in Spyro the Dragon on PS1? No. Capcom made a conscious decision to have the camera angles like this. Capcom made a conscious decision to have tank controls like this. Only indie developers use the tank. Exactly, and the thing about it is, there's so many indie developers out there that are actually making classic survival horror games in the style of actual Resident Evil games because they can do it. They don't have to listen to Capcom executives that get off me. Now, if I was a little zoomer, I'd be like, why isn't he spawning ammo? Why isn't he not spawning health? You know what I mean? But I'm not a fucking zoomer. I'm a proud millennium who established the very franchise that you were honoured and privileged to be a part of. I created your franchise. I created your Leon Kennedy. You wouldn't be a Leon Kennedy if people like me bought the game that he made his debut in. Sucking those facts. Bitch. Now you might see a lot of ammo right now in my inventory. But believe me, that ammo drops very, very quickly as we move on throughout the game. So there is 100%, Chad, there is 100% demand for this style of game. True Resident Evil, true survival horror. There is an absolute demand. I mean, make no bones about that. What were you doing in there? Come back in now. I really miss that classic zombie moan. But again, you'll have some of these zoomers, but it's outdated, Johnny. It's outdated. How is it outdated to have a zombie? When was the last time you saw a zombie? Apart from a heroin addict walking in the street. Like, so what is real in a video game? I always find it amusing when zoomer gamers come up with these idiotic statements that wouldn't be real, that wouldn't be believable. Believable. I mean, believable. Imagine playing Resident Evil and bringing believable into it. Honestly. It's a fucking zombie. What does a zombie sound like? When's the last time you heard a zombie? I'm telling you, it's just comedy material what these people come up with. I'm telling you. I mean, I'm coming up with facts. All these zoomers are coming up with is just comical bullshit. I'm going to use Square Enix and the JRPG genre as an example as of to how there actually is a demand, of how there how there clearly is a demand for a genre that these Zoomers feel is outdated and how it's already on the market. Take Final Fantasy. Obviously, Square Enix decided to modernize Final Fantasy. Okay, and obviously the combat system is a prime example of that modernized. I can't even say the word. Modern. But does that mean that there is no turn-based JRPG games on the market? No, there's plenty. And even Square Enix themselves have studios that actually work on classic JRPG games that have turn-based combat. I Am Setsuna is one of them, Lost Sphere is another, and even the remake of Live a Live is examples of classic turn-based JRPG games. I mean, even Dragon Quest has it. So therefore, apply that to Resident Evil. There are plenty, let me tell you, plenty of people who would gladly play a true Resident Evil game in 2023 with tank controls, fixed camera angles, resource management, and survival horror. I find it really funny. Yes, that's more than anything else. I actually find these Zoomer Resident Evil fans just hilarious. They get so excited when Capcom announce a remake of 2 or 3. They get so excited. Oh, did you hear? Did you hear, Billy? They're remaking Resident Evil 2. Oh my god, they're remaking Resident Evil 3. This is so great. These games are going to be so good. Yet, they never gave a flying fuck about Resident Evil 2 and 3. They wouldn't play these games because they wouldn't last 5 minutes in those games. Because they hate the tank controls, they hate the fixed camera angles, they hate resource management. They don't like those games. But hey, isn't it great they're being remade? No, I mean, obviously, you could argue reasons to like them is because they feel that they're somehow better, because they're made more casual, because some of these little Zoomers have their hand caught the whole way through the game. But a much overall easier experience. I mean, come on, you play Resident Evil 2 OG on normal, right? That's like hard mode in the remake. So yeah, I just find that funny. Buck Twang 25. Yeah, I don't know who you're calling a Zoomer, but I was born in 1988, so I don't know if you know the definition of a Zoomer, but I ain't one of them. What's your date of birth? Nonetheless, you are very welcome to Green Hill Gaming for my latest Resident Evil discussion live stream. There's going to be a lot of them. This Resident Evil live stream is once again aimed at the Zoomer Resident Evil fan base, and I'm hitting those cold, hard, solid truths of the Zoomer Resident Evil fan base. How are you keeping? Hope that you enjoyed the live stream. So one of the main truths of the Zoomer Resident Evil fan base is they can't last 5 minutes in actual Resident Evil games. They can barely aim at a fucking zombie, let alone get to the end of the game. That's what I like 4 onwards, because those games are so easier. They've got checkpoint save systems, ammo around every corner, enemies that spawn ammo. You know, you're suplexing enemies. That's more appealing. It's more appealing to these Zoomers. Some of these Zoomers anyway, at least. And reality is as well, another truth is, like, the thing is, the reason they don't appreciate real Resident Evil games is because they actually weren't even alive or old enough, you know, to be around when these games are released. I have to look back on those games and they see, oh, outdated graphics. Ew. Dang, you're old. Well, I'd rather be old. I'd rather be a proud, old 34-year-old Resident Evil fan of actual Resident Evil games, than to be a casual Zoomer gamer who can't last 5 minutes in an actual Resident Evil game and get excited that you can fucking suplex enemies in Resident Evil 4. So yeah. At least they can last longer than 5 minutes in an actual Resident Evil game without crying and moaning about, oh, tank controls, oh, I can't handle the tank controls, oh, fixed camera angles, I can't see what's around the corner, survival horror, oh, I died, now I gotta go back to the start of the game because I didn't get an increment. What is this? I'll tell you what it is. It's Resident Evil, the very series you claim to be a fan of, you fucking idiots. That's another truth as well that I want to hit upon. Like, you're old. Yeah, I am. I'm old enough to have played the actual Resident Evil games. I'm old enough to actually appreciate these real Resident Evil games. I'm old enough to actually have the skill to get through these games. And yeah, I'm not a young little Zoomer kid who can handle 5 minutes of these games. I'm not a little kid that can't go without crying he or she's little Zoomer eyes out because of them complaining, because I'm complaining so much about fixed camera angles and hand controls. So yeah. I am old. And I'm damn proud to be old. OG gamer and proud, motherfucker. Not gonna bother reading the documents. Imagine that scene being remade on PS5 hardware. Just make it happen. Let's say, make it happen.
Biohazard contamination detected. Level 3. Emergency shutters will close. All personnel evacuate immediately.
That was close.
I always love that classic beep, beep, you know, alarms and self-destruct system has been activated, all that kind of stuff. I miss that so much. And that's all it's all part of the classic flavour, you know, that has just been removed. But I really love, and I find it hilarious, how certain Zoomers who do not like actual Resident Evil games, who just can't handle these games, who can't last 5 minutes in these games, how they are the ones who say that I'm complaining, I'm the moaner, I'm the bitter, old gamer. When the reality is, I'm not complaining. I'm speaking the truth. The people that are complaining are these little Zoomers who can't play these games. Because they complain about, oh, look at these shit PS2 graphics. Oh, look at these shit fixed camera angles. Oh, look at these shit tank controls. Oh, who wants to play these games? These are shit. Those are the complainers, not me. And that's the truth as well. And again, it's not all Zoomers. Okay, I can't stress that enough. It's not all Zoomers. There's plenty of Zoomers that are better than I am in these games. Probably even speedrunning these games. So yeah, again, I will admit that. I mean, I'm probably a bit unfair when I'm branding every Zoomer the same. That's a bit unfair of me. And I'll admit that, and I'll acknowledge that. The music, the classic music as well. I think the save music from 4 onwards, just crap. Utter crap. I think what you're looking at here is resource management. I'm deciding like which weapons I should actually take with me. I kind of normally use the bow gun as a kind of backup. I mean, I feel like I do have a reasonable enough amount of handgun ammo at the moment, so I'm going to put all my bow gun ammo and the actual bow gun itself away for now. Put away the red herb as well. I genuinely can't remember when this is actually used, but I don't have a lockpick right now, so I'm going to put it away for now. And yeah, I mean, my condition right now is caution, but I do have a first aid spray, so I can handle myself. Did I share the live stream? Yeah. I always find it funny how when someone says, "Damn, you're old," it's like meant to be an insult. I don't understand how that would be an insult, especially in today's world. I mean, I'd rather be an old millennium than a young Zoomer who believes that your gender is a social construct. Do you know what I mean? I'm head out now. See you next time, chat. I will catch you in the next live stream. Who knows, it might be yet another Resident Evil discussion live stream. No, it won't be. It'll be Final Fantasy 16 more than likely. Chat, hope you feel better soon. And yeah, I will catch up in the next live stream, chat. Take it easy. Yeah, there's just a certain charm about real Resident Evil games that'll never, ever, unfortunately, return. I think what you have is replicas. Replicas of backtracking. Replicas of survival horror. Replicas of inventory management. You know? Just replicas of Resident Evil. That's bootleg Chinese, you know, Resident Evil games is what we have. And I mean, like, look, I mean, let's get the obvious, like, things out of the way. And I keep mentioning this, and the reason I keep mentioning this is because I'm aware that people are going to look at it and they're going to say, oh, you know, they're going to say this. So I'm not stupid. Resident Evil is one of Capcom's most profitable franchises. Resident Evil makes a shit ton of money for Capcom. Resident Evil is extremely successful. It is an extremely successful franchise, okay? That brings in a lot of revenue. It's got movies, it's got Netflix series, it's got merchandise. It's absolutely huge. Do I give a shit about that? No. Because do I make money off that? No. Do you know what I mean? I look at it from the point of view of the gaming aspect of things. And again, there's reasons why games sell. And it's not always down to, like, somebody actually liking the game. Like, what if Osama bin Laden, did he buy millions of PS2s? Did he do that because all his fucking jihadi fucking friends wanted to have a game of Call of Duty? I highly doubt so. And on that note, Damien, my good friend, welcome as always to Green Hill Gaming for yet another Resident Evil discussion live stream. This time around, I'm once again targeting not all, but some Resident Evil Zoomers by hitting some hard, cold, solid facts at them. So, how are you getting on, man? High on Life is out now on PS5 with 60 quid. Yeah, Jesus Christ, I've got a lot of games as it is. Am I going to pay 60 quid right now for that game? Nope. But it'll probably come to PS Plus, so yeah. That is fucked though. Because it is technically an indie game. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm ready to pay 60 quid on that game. I've enough games now to last me. I'm actually considering, would you believe, shocker, Damien, you may need to be seated for this now. I'm actually considering getting Pikmin 4. I said it. Because I actually played the demo of Pikmin 4 and I was a bit misled, really, actually, about Pikmin 4. It is timed in the sense that when you were exploring the planets, there's a day and night cycle. And when it gets to night, you have to make sure all your Pikmin are back inside the ship. But you can have as many days as you want. So you could literally spend 60 days exploring, not real life days, no, by the way, but like in-game days, just exploring the one planet. So you really, in reality, you can actually have as much time as you want. I just was a bit misled by the whole thing. But yeah, 60 quid, high in life. I've got to get high on this green herb. Oh, boom, perfect timing. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Alright, so, so yeah, I mean, there is and there isn't. Does that make sense? No, I'm sorry. So yeah, there is a day and night cycle. So again, like, so when you are exploring the planets, if you don't make it, if you don't have all your Pikmin back into the ship at night time, you lose your Pikmin potentially. The creatures will get stronger and they'll eat your Pikmin. So you do have to be conscious. You do have to be conscious of time when it comes to that. But the reality is, though, as far as completing your mission objectives, like, you can take as many days as you want. So you can do one. So once one day ends, you go back into your spaceship with all your Pikmin. You can do another day, like day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. You can go on and on and on. So in reality, overall, you're actually not timed, which is great. So I'm actually enjoying the demo so far, and you can carry over your save progress into the final version as well. I like that natural evolution of demos. Demos have come a long way over the years, but I like the fact that in most demos now you can actually carry over your save progress. You know, so no, so it's not timed in the way that I was thinking, which is good. You didn't like the timed missions before in other ones because it was too. No, see, what it was, Damien, was I played Pikmin 1. And in Pikmin 1, you had a certain amount of days to essentially complete the game. So with each day, it was going from day to night. So if I fucked up, right, in one day, that's one less day I have to complete the game. Now again, not real days, in-game days, right? So basically, if I fucked up, it would be really stressful and really annoying, because I have to keep on going back and doing it again. Whereas in Pikmin 4, you can have as many days as you want. So essentially, Pikmin 4 is not timed when you stop and think about it. So the reason I wasn't really too keen on Pikmin before Pikmin 4 was because I thought that Pikmin 3 and even Pikmin 2, for that matter, like, had a similar time system as Pikmin 1, but that's not the case. At all. And it wasn't the fact that it was challenging either. It wasn't the fact that it was challenging, it was the fact that I didn't like the idea of being limited to a certain amount of days, do you know what I mean, to complete the game. I just found it really annoying as opposed to challenging. So I wasn't like a little zoomer kid, you know, who has a look at the original Resident Evil and goes, oh, PS1 graphics, shit. And not last 5 minutes in the game because they can't handle classic Resident Evil, get their ass kicked, die 5 minutes into the game. So no. So yeah. Because honestly, man, some of these little Zoomer kids who call themselves Resident Evil fans, they go and play a game like Code Veronica and they can't last 5 minutes. And the thing is, like, I ain't the one complaining, I ain't the one mourning, I ain't the bitter one, it's them. Because when they play a game like Code Veronica, they're like, oh, I can't handle 5 minutes. These fixed camera angles, they're too much. Tank controls is too much. I can't aim my gun properly. What am I doing? What do I do with this gun? This is not Call of Duty. Fuck! And they die and they don't have any ink ribbons and they don't save their progress and they expect to have a checkpoint save system. So when it goes back to game over and they go back to the start of the game, they cry like little babies they are. Anyway, how are you doing? How was everything with you, man? Great to have you in the live stream. I'm actually going to put the mixed herbs into the inventory box because I don't need them. That's an example of resource management as well. I actually think one of the reasons why Code Veronica is not getting a remake is maybe because Capcom are scared to remake Code Veronica because on account of Alfred Ashford being the tranny. Oh, we don't want to offend the woke Zoomers. So what's there to be offended by? It has tranny representation. What's the problem? Alright, I got enough ammo. I got my first aid spray. I'm ready to rock and roll. Oh, did you hear as well, Damien? The Tencent have acquired Techland. Tencent are becoming the new Microsoft, man. Imagine not being able to aim as zombies in Code Veronica. They're literally, it's literally auto aim. Why, Saber Attack? Why the fuck High in Life costs $60? It's supposed to be 30 or 40. Guess we all wait for it to be free on PS Plus. Yeah, that's what I said as well. Wait until it's free on PS Plus, definitely. Or at least wait until it goes down on price on PS Plus. Saber Attack, my good friend, as always, you are very welcome to Green Hill Gaming for my latest Resident Evil discussion live stream. How are you doing? Enjoyed the live stream? Imagine, Saber, strange music. The man of many personalities saying, well, the kid of many personalities who can't aim at zombies. What the hell? What the absolute hell? Like, it's literally, as you said earlier, it has auto aiming. Fuck me, like. Fuck me, like. Oh, he's back up for more. See, as I mentioned earlier, even though there is plenty of ammo at the start of this game, see how quickly my ammo is dropping. Code Veronica is one of the hardest Resident Evil games in the series, and some of these little Zoomer kids, okay, they would not last 5 fucking minutes in a game like Code Veronica without crying about the true sense of 100% survival horror, resource management, because they don't understand resource management. They expect the fucking enemies to spawn ammo like 4 onwards. Well, 4 and 5 and I think 6. Okay? They just can't. Oh, fixed camera angles. Oh, tank controls. Oh, this game is outdated. You shitty PS2 game. Wah, wah, wah. Fucking Zoomers. To be fair, Code Veronica isn't fair for OG fans as well. What do you mean? What do you mean it isn't fair for OG fans? I would like to know what you mean. I think it's a pretty fair game. Well, it could give you a bit of notice towards the end of the game when you switch over to Chris Redfield, that if Claire Redfield doesn't put all the items into the inventory box, or no, if she does put it into the inventory box or something, that basically Chris can't get access to those weapons and items. Oh, you literally read my mind. See, when it comes down to it, Saber, we mightn't see eye to eye on everything, but when it comes down to it, we're on the same wavelength, my friend, when it comes to Resident Evil. That is literally what I said. So yeah, the game does get, and it happened to me, Sabertac, a good number of years ago, while it was leading up to the release of Revelations. I wanted to play every game in the mainline series, and when I got to Code Veronica, I fucked up. I fucked up with that exact thing, and I also forgot to get the Magnum, which made it even worse. Some people really hate fixed camera angles, and why? Like, nobody complains about FIFA when you're all of a sudden a fucking pilot in the sky playing fucking football, because that's your angle, you're looking down. Nobody complains then. Why is it everyone complains about Resident Evil when it comes to fixed camera angles? Like, it's just a camera angle. It was a conscious decision by Capcom to include fixed camera angles. It's intentional as well. These fucking idiots. The game is super hard, outside of original survival horror games. RE4 Remake is the best Resident Evil. Well, RE4 Remake is not a Resident Evil game. The only Resident Evil games are Resident Evil 1, including the remake, and the prequel, Resident Evil 0, and Code Veronica. Every other game after that is just an action horror game with the name Resident Evil slapped onto it. And that's a fact. That's not actually an opinion, by the way. Inside of survival horror games, RE2 Remake gameplay-wise is the best, and RE1 Remake is perfect. Well, Resident Evil 1 Remake is the best remake ever made, hands down. And I would say it's actually one of the best Resident Evil games of all time. And if you mean inside of survival horror, like outside of survival horror, I wouldn't say that Resident Evil 2 Remake gameplay-wise, because the reality is, gameplay-wise, Resident Evil is fixed camera angles, which Resident Evil 2 Remake doesn't include. RE4 Remake is a new genre, by the way, survival action horror. Well, yeah, you are correct, but the reality is, Resident Evil is survival horror. Full stop. It's fixed camera angles, it's tank controls, it's true resource management, and 100% survival horror. Not action survival horror, but survival horror. So yeah, essentially, after the release of Code Veronica and Zero, Capcom decided to make Resident Evil into another genre. First it was action horror, now it's action survival horror. So, yeah. RE2 proves the OG games can... No, you are wrong, Sabertac. Resident Evil 1 Remake already proved back in 2002 that OG Resident Evil games can be modernized. Look at Resident Evil 1 and PS1 and compare it to Resident Evil Remake on GameCube. And you will see how Capcom modernized Resident Evil in every way possible. Not just from visuals, but from gameplay, new locations, new puzzles. So no, not Resident Evil 2, because Resident Evil 2 Remake didn't have tank controls, didn't have fixed camera angles. Resident Evil 1 Remake did. So I would say Resident Evil 1 Remake, back in 2002 on the GameCube, proved that OG Resident Evil games can be modernized. First it was Devil May Cry, then it was RE4. Well, I wouldn't say that Devil May Cry was it was started off as a Resident Evil game, but I wouldn't look at Devil May Cry now and say, oh yeah, that's Resident Evil, because it's not unlike Resident Evil. Apart from the way the doors open, other than that, no. RE2 Remake and RE1 both. I just feel that Resident Evil 1 Remake already proved that OG Resident Evil games can be modernized, because that remake was modernized in every possible way. And that is why, to a lot of people, it is considered to be one of the best Resident Evil games of all time and one of the best remakes of all time. And that was years before 2 Remake came along. When 2 Remake came along, it had over-the-shoulder controls, and you know, it got rid of fixed camera angles. So like, that's why I consider Resident Evil 1 Remake to be the superior one, because it was true Resident Evil. But overall, I enjoyed 4, the original. I enjoyed 5 for what it was. 6 can fuck right off. I enjoyed 7, and I really, really enjoyed Village. It's just I don't consider those games as Resident Evil. And I enjoyed the Resident Evil 2 Remake as well. You watching Gran Turismo? When is it out? I actually am. I like the story of it. I like the story of like this guy who's like playing Gran Turismo, ends up becoming an actual. The trailer for it, is there? I'll keep the link there now. Oh no, Marvel. Oh, I don't want to watch anything. Saber, when it comes to new release games, now I don't want to watch anything. I want to go into the game as fresh as possible. But thanks for the link, nonetheless. Appreciate it. But I don't want to see anything of any game. You know, even if it's just 10 seconds of the game, I just don't care. I just don't care. Look, it's the tranny. He's obsessed with his sister. Yeah, the reason Capcom don't want to remake Code Veronica is because of Alfred being a tranny. And because of Claire Redfield saying, "You cross-dressing freak." Well, let's face it. Look at what Alfred is doing right now. He is a freak. And he's a cross-dresser. So Claire Redfield is stating a fact. He is a cross-dressing freak. Look at him. He wants to kiss his own sister. That's a freak. As I'm concerned. I won't watch it too, I guess. Well, you don't have to not watch it because I'm not watching it. You know what I mean? I have a burnout, I know. I hope that burnout goes away for you soon. We've all been there, to be honest with you. It never went away. I enjoyed Evil Within a bit, though. Well, that's good. Maybe get Evil Within 2. Pick up where you left off, man. Get Evil Within 2. That might help you. This video felt like incest. Yeah, it did. And this guy, voice actor. Oh, he's a good voice actor. Very good voice actor. Oh, 100% incest, man. Was it 1 o'clock? It's 1 o'clock. Sorry, I just like really I just really was shocked by the time there. You know, sometimes this puzzle can be a pain in the ass. I think it's it's always these 2 guns, isn't it? 2 handguns. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I really want this game to be remade for a lot of reasons, but I really like the story of this game, and I would really like to see how they could enhance and add to the story. Really. Evil Within 1 and 2 are totally different games. Evil Within is more Resident Evil 4, or Resident Evil. Oh, Evil Within 2 feels like RE4 remake, but without kicking. I think you should get stuck into 2. You know, you should kind of build upon. You know, if you felt like Evil Within helped with your gaming burnout, I feel like Evil Within 2. You know what I mean? Might just cure your burnout. You never know. Oh, you bastard! I always like being surprised by zombies in these games. That's what you get for trying to give me a heart attack. And again, that's because of fixed camera angles that I got that scare. Because you can't see what's around the corner. Capcom deliberately included fixed camera angles and tank controls in the game to add a level of fear and tension and not knowing what's around the corner. It's so funny listening to some Zoomers saying, "But I can't see what's around the corner." Exactly, you idiot. That's what the game was supposed to be like. Honestly. Well, you never know. It might though. I had 191 deaths on Evil Within 1 on Nightmare difficulty, which is like Madhouse difficulty on Jesus. Well, it's tough. Like, so you're going to have that amount of deaths. I will never forget the day that I not only completed RE7 in Madhouse difficulty, but took down the final form of Jack Baker with a pocket knife. And it's so funny because the cop that shows up at the start of the game gives you a pocket knife, and Ethan is like, "What am I going to do with this?" You know what I mean? And look what I did with it. Probably one of my greatest Resident Evil achievements of all time. I'm not showing off, but do you know what I mean? Like, if you have it, show it off. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'm not showing off. 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 There was even a fucking harder difficulty of Evil Within games. Akuma made you die by literally any type of one hit. Oh, one hit kills. Lovely. Oh, Steve. Wait, when does Steve get locked inside that room? Oh, it's as you leave. Just as you're about to leave. I think I'm needing this for a while. This was my first PS2 game, Saber Attack. Don't know if I ever told you that. Well, one of my first PS2 games, along with the legendary GTA 3, which you love. So, well, I beat Sadler by eggs. What? You beat Sadler by eggs? That's hilarious. I never actually used eggs as a weapon in RE4. I wonder, would you be able to throw eggs in VR, like by physically, like, you know, using motion control? I'd love that. I want to get MK1, but I knew you'd be. It's what's his face, isn't it? It's Homelander, isn't it? Is that his name? From what you call it? From The Boys that got you into Mortal Kombat 1. It is, isn't it? I'm right, aren't I? I don't got money, and I don't think it's worth getting. Well, I'll give you advice. Okay? If you are only getting into MK1 because of the character from The Boys, then I wouldn't, personally. But if you are just interested in the series overall, I think it would be worth your while. Because you won't have to know about anything about these characters. You won't have to know any backstory. You won't have to know anything because it's a completely original story. All these characters have a new origin story. So you won't have to worry there. Saving Spider-Man 2 and the console cover and controller. Wait, what? Oh, the console cover. I thought you said you were going to get the console. And that'll make 2 deluxe edition. Oh, yeah, you've got a lot of games to save for there. You can do it though. I don't care if Homelander is in it. Okay. Well, definitely then I would say go for it. And again, you won't have to worry about anything that happened before because this is a completely original story. My friend wants me to play as well, and he's a huge MK fan. I'm a huge MK fan. I'm your friend. That's okay. No, I'm only joking. But go for it. Absolutely go for it. Go for it. But yeah, one more game to add to your list.
Yeah! Help me!
Steve?
Steve? Wait, one more one. Holy shit, I'm actually genuinely okay. I got a bit lost there. The biggest issue with Mortal Kombat is that the internet issues. Shut up, Steve. Yeah, shut up, Steve. Oh yeah, well that's only if you're playing online. Oh yeah, you have a friend that wants to play, okay. Understandable. I got a feeling Steve is going to die. Seriously.
That was too close. But I found something, thanks to you.
I mean, you has a name.
Looks cool, huh?
This guy suffered more than eating.
Give them to me.
Oh man.
You gotta be kidding.
Pause this for us.
I found it and I'm keeping it. Fine. Let's make a deal. I'll trade you for something fully automatic.
You are so right about
See you around,
Steve.
Claire. Adios.
In fact...
Hey, wait, Steve!
Remember I said that Ethan Winters had a really tragic story? Which, to be fair, he does. But I actually have to agree with you. I think that Steve has the most tragic story in the series. I mean, he was just a little kid when he was basically essentially taken in by Umbrella, you know, and being put into a prison by Umbrella because his father was trying to leak information on Umbrella. And his mother was killed, and his father eventually turns into a zombie, and you have to kill him. Steve has to kill him in zombie form. That's very tragic. So you are so right there. Give me the rules. The voice actor is such a masterpiece here. Yeah, classic voice acting. Eden had a booty and a kid. Steve didn't have a life basically. When you stop and think of it, and the fact that he eventually dies in the game as well. So yeah, when you put it like that, yeah, he does have quite the tragic life. I think this is the part where we're going to come face to face with the cross-dressing freak. Alfred. I got to go. No problem. Sabertac, thank you very much. I will indeed. And listen, thank you so much for dropping by the live stream. Hope you enjoyed, and much appreciated, and I will catch you in the next live stream.
Redfield! How dare you interfere with my operation?
What are you talking about?
You let yourself be captured so you could lead your people to this base.
have no idea what you're babbling about.
You don't fool me! I am Alfred Ashford, commander of this base.
Oh? You must be one of Umbrella's lower-level officers if you're in command of a backwater base like this one.
How dare you! The Ashford family is among the world's first and finest. My grandfather is one of the original founders of Umbrella, Inc. Now tell me, why have you attacked this installation?
Attacked?
Shortly after you arrived, my base was attacked. You must have informed your people of its location.
I still don't follow you. I really don't know anything about that.
Unacceptable! How can you deny it? My base has been destroyed. And thanks to you, the experimental T-virus was released, creating countless zombies and monsters. Tell me, who do you work for? Who sent you? Have it your way, then. You're just a rat in a cage anyway. I'll be sure to keep you entertained before I dispose of you.
That laugh, the iconic laugh of Alfred Ashford. I'm gonna get some sleep. But yeah, before we actually end the live stream, I mean, like, just to touch upon some of these Resident Evil Zoomer fans. Another truth is they just don't want to acknowledge. They're just like I know myself and Sabertac had a conversation about this earlier, so this is not like aimed at Sabertac, right? But there is certain Zoomers who just don't want to acknowledge Resident Evil 1 Remake to the point where they don't even know it exists, which is crazy. And they literally, no, actually it isn't that. They actually think that the HD port, the HD remaster of the remake is an act, like they think that's Resident Evil 1. They literally think that that's Resident Evil 1, right? And they want that remade. But the reality is it's already remade, because Resident Evil Remake on 2002 GameCube, that's the remake of Resident Evil. So the fact that there's actually a certain amount of Resident Evil Zoomer fans that actually want to get that game remade is hilarious. It's already remade. And as Sabertac pointed out, with 2 Remake, like, I would include Resident Evil 1 Remake in it too, but like the reality is, like, it showed that there is a market for modern Resident Evil. And to be quite honest with you, and I like having conversations with like Sabertac and others like Sabertac, because it kind of like, it's nice to get feedback. It's nice to have somebody who actually, you know, like, fucking, like, joins in on the Resident Evil side of things conversation, because like, I take on that feedback and it makes me think that it isn't just me saying all this, you know. So if I had a choice between Resident Evil 4, 5, 6, 7 or Village, or Resident Evil 2 and even 3 Remake, the style of Resident Evil again, like, going forward, I would choose the style of Resident Evil 2 and 3 Remake, because at least they feel more like Resident Evil. They mightn't have tank controls, they mightn't have fixed controls fixed camera. They might not have fixed camera angles and tank controls, but at least they feel more like a Resident Evil game than the others do. But ultimately, I would like this: fixed camera angles, tank controls, resource management, and 100% survival horror. You know, but you can't have it all, can you? But it's never going to happen. Like, I mean, Capcom are never going to do this. They're too far gone. Bye-bye. You know? I'm not really aiming to do a playthrough of Code Veronica, but just in case I do, I will save it anyway. And this is how you saved Resident Evil, you know, back in the day. You'd have to get the ink ribbons, get to the save room, or get to an ink, get to a typewriter, and yeah, save your progress. Because nowadays it's checkpoint here and checkpoint there. Yeah. So that is the end of the live stream, my latest Resident Evil discussion live stream. There's going to be more. Like there's going to be more. I'm going to find other discussions to talk about. Believe me, I'm not stopping anything soon, because if I am pissing off certain Zoomers in the Resident Evil community, good, because it means I've achieved something. You know, and I also enjoy having that. Like, I mean, the thing is, right? There's two things that will more than likely happen. Okay, there will be people that will be absolutely pissed off by what I'm saying, and they will react in a completely negative way. Oh, fuck you, boomer, even though I'm not a boomer, I'm actually a millennium. Oh, fuck you, old man, complainer, blah, blah, blah. Right? Or you get people that will completely agree with me and say, yeah, you're right, yeah, fuck 4, fuck 5, fuck 6. But it's people in between that I feel I benefit from the most. Do you know? That will just have an opinion that would be like their own, if you know what I mean. A bit like myself, you know? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get some sleep. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. The next live stream will more than likely be Final Fantasy 16, so, you know, just like to do these discussion live streams from time to time. So yeah, see you next time. Good night. Sleep well.